Hey guys, I'm Andrew and welcome to Southeastern Saddle Hunters. In this video, I want to show you how you can get into saddle hunting and go straight to one sticking for less than $500, just like I did. It doesn't make sense spending $350 on a one stick, $450 on a saddle, when you can do the whole thing for less than $500, still getting good, safe, quality gear that you can rely on.
All right, for my one stick, let's start with the aider itself. It's a 3-step aider, 15-inch spacing between the steps. You know, I am a fairly tall person. I'm 6 foot tall. I have a decent enough stretch with my legs, but in the wintertime with boots on, yes, I can stretch out to 17, 18 inches, 20 inches if I need to, but I don't really see the need. My aider I made myself. It is with 1/8 inch am steel. It's girthage to the actual climbing steps themselves, and then I have some fuel line in the middle, and I made 3 individual am steel steps and girthaged them to each other overall. I found a clip on YouTube. I forget the channel who posted it, but it was a very helpful channel, and I mimicked it off of that itself. Next up, like I said, this was the Hawk Helium 3-step stick. It's very affordable. I think I paid $43 for it for one stick at the time. And I went ahead and cut it down, relocated the offset and standoff to shorten the stick up overall, lose a lot of the weight, and a lot of the length I don't need as far as just the mass moving through the woods. I got rid of the top steps and put the Hawk HSP platform. So with the Hawk HSP platform, it does move quite a bit. You get a lot of the movement side to side and front to back, and it makes you a little bit uneasy, different than most other platforms you're going to be standing on. However, it's never made any noise and it doesn't slip. I've never had any issues with it actually in the stand, other than just the uneasy feeling of when I shift my weight, the platform itself wants to shift or rock slightly. One thing that helped a lot to cut down on the noise is when you buy the HSP, it does come with these 2 push pins, and to me that doesn't make any sense. If I'm going to have the HSP platform on here, I want it to be permanent, so I replaced those pins with just 2 actual bolts with lock nuts on the back. I was able to get it significantly tighter, a lot less movement overall than how it came with, and no noise. So right now it doesn't make any noise at all when it moves, if it does move. I got the Hawking cam cleat. I got that off Amazon. I think it was like $44, $43, something around there. It works really well. It does make noise if you pull out quickly. However, I added a small piece of bungee cord here that goes in between it to help calm that noise down and quiet that noise. And it worked really, really well. I'm running an 8mm climbing rope off Amazon, a static climbing rope, 8mm, to secure the one stick to the tree. I know a lot of people will go the am steel route and go full berry, and try different things there. I've tried 2 different am steel methods, and I've had both of them slip on me through the Hawking cam cleat. Usually making my first step up or my second move or whatever, I've had them fall twice under me with different am steel setups, including a full berry. So I decided I'm getting rid of the am steel for that reason, for securing my stick with the Hawking cam cleat, and just going with some climbing rope. Yes, it's heavier. Yes, it's a little bit more complicated to pack up, but I really like the fact that it's kind of orange, and I did get a reflective one. So at nighttime, if I'm needing to go trail a deer or do something and look for something else at night and left my stick on the tree, or near the tree, then it's really easy to pick up and find at nighttime with the reflectiveness. Same with all the paracord up top here. I have just a simple rubber gear tie, basically, to be able to pull it up when I'm actually up there. If you watch any one sticking videos and know how to one stick, you'll know that when you're above it, you'll have to pull it up to make your next move. I just got some cheap ones. I didn't get any Night Eyes or something like that for this. I think I got like a 25-foot spool from either Walmart or Harbor Freight for really cheap, and just zip tied in the back so it stays on permanently. This setup works really well for me. It's fairly light. I don't have a weight on it, but it's all aluminum with the exception of the cam cleat itself. I'm able to pack it up really tightly where I can get the aiders fully packed up on the front of the stick with the legs closed and wrap up the climbing rope around it. I did the Cobra weave with the paracord on the front. I did that mostly just for visibility, like I said, with the reflective nature of the reflective paracord, but I found out it actually helps out a lot on comfort, and especially when climbing in winter, when you're going to grab it, it's much nicer to grab onto the paracord with the Cobra weave than just the cold aluminum when you're climbing up. But that's everything for my one stick. All right, I'm up here in the tree now. I want to show you, I have the Mad Rock Safeguard. I did go ahead and put stealth strips on everything, including my carabiner, to keep everything nice and quiet. My saddle came with the Amsteel bridge. I'll go over my saddle in a little bit though. I really like the Mad Rock Safeguard. I know there's a few other options out there, including a figure 8, and you can go gree or any other kind of climbing device, but I just feel much more secure with the Mad Rock Safeguard. In fact, I actually have 2 of them. I have one for myself, and when I have my daughters with me and they're climbing up also, then I use one for them as well. I went ahead and got the Canyon Elite from Eastern Wood Outdoors, the 9mm Canyon Elite rope, and I've got that tied to a scaffold knot up here to my quick link. For my quick link, I went ahead and got the Metolius 10mm quick link. I think I got that off Amazon for around $10 or so. Yeah, I just, it's a steel quick link. There's nothing fancy about it. I do know you can get the same basic thing from Harbor Freight. It's a 3/8 inch steel quick link for, I think a 3-pack is $4. So if I was to do it again, would I spend $10 on this? Probably not. 3/8 inch and 10mm is basically the same. Some of the paracord I had left over from my Cobra weave, I just tied it up here and 3D printed my little rope clip here to keep it from falling down as I climb. I know there's a few people online who sell them. Some of the 3D printing works, and but I've got a 3D printer and decided to print it myself. All right, so let me get to my hitch strap. This is the key. It's the first thing I put when I'm up in the tree. It's DIY as well. I've seen how what Tether does theirs. All right, this is just an 1/8 inch Amsteel daisy chain. Daisy chained all the way down about 8 feet or so with an aluminum cam jam on the end, and a little bit of straightness here, just Amsteel to be able to pull through. So what I like to do is I always pull it through loose, and I've got a little hook on the end so I can pull through around it. Let's move my camera here. All right, so I go around. You just choose the kind of tighter one I can get to as far as the daisy chain. Clip it on. I leave it loose for now until I can grab my bow hook out of my dump pouch that I have in my chest rig. This, I'll put it on this side so y'all are able to see, but I just slide it up here. It has a groove that you can either put a 1-inch strap through, nylon strap, or this 1/8 inch does fit through just perfectly where I can slide up like that. And I grab the end of my cam jam and pull it tight. There we go. So now my hitch strap is tightened up. I have my bow hook up here, and I can have a few extra clips for, a quiver, for example, for a 75-pound one for the backpack, just the Night Eyes clips for that, really easy carabiners for it. But that's my DIY hitch strap that I can then take my backpack off, which I'm bringing my really small bag out today. This is my one I use for very lightweight hunts. and then clip it on. So clipped on and let it hang down near my feet. Usually I will kind of clip it up a little bit higher. Just an example up here. So it's around my waist. That way I'm not having to go up and down to make any kind of movements or get anything out of my bag, any water. I'd prefer to not have too many movements, and it doesn't seem to ever get in the way too much. So that's my setup when I'm climbing and saddle hunting without filming. I'm going to jump to when I am filming now and show you some of my setups I have for that. But this one sticking setup I just showed would get you one sticking for less than $500. My saddle, I forgot to go over my saddle. My saddle is the ULL second gen saddle, I believe it is. I think it was $160. If I had to do it again, I would definitely go with something like the XOP Mutant that they just released. It's $120 for a great saddle. That's the cheapest option. If you did that with everything else that I've got here set up, you know, your one stick at $140, Canyon Elite rope, Mad Rock Safeguard, carabiners, quick link, all of that, you're one sticking for less than $450, which is cheaper than the tethered Ultralock saddle itself. So you can be one sticking with everything for less than a saddle from tethered. Granted, that saddle's probably extremely comfortable and probably worth the money, but I'm very budget friendly and I can't justify spending $450 on a saddle. All right, let me go ahead and show you my filming setup, how I have my GoPro, my second angle camera, how I have my camera arm with my main camera, and how I've just got everything set up here. All right, so when I'm filming, I keep all my camera gear in a fanny pack that I have. I keep my GoPro as my upper level camera or second angle camera on top through the bungee there, and my main camera, which is a Canon Vixia HF G10, that goes inside. And then there's some extra pouches. I put some spare batteries for my GoPro, spare batteries for my main camera, and also my lapel microphone, an extra lapel microphone. I have an extra shotgun mic, and then my big shotgun mic that goes on my main camera, that goes in my dumb pouch, which is on the side of my chest rig here. First thing I do though is I pull out my GoPro with this bendable tripod legs that's on top of the fanny pack. And if I start digging through my fanny pack, I don't want to have it accidentally knock this off, knock this to the ground. So when I'm going to start my camera setup, this is the first thing I grab. I've tried some different methods to place it, but what I always seem to rely on the most has been the best for me is just to take through the legs, stick them through my quick link, bend them down, pull it, and then I bend them out so it lodges against the tree. That way there's no movement. If I need to adjust any angles, I can use this leg, or I can just straight angle the camera, move it how I need to. It's within arm's reach. Everything there is pretty easy to get to. And you know, this works really well. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't move ever. Even if I, take some slack, for example, if I put some slack in my rope, you see the GoPro stays where it's at. So whether my tether is taut or loose, it doesn't matter. My GoPro with this flexible tripod stays in place there. Next thing I do is out of my backpack, I go ahead and grab my camera arm, which I can't show you the setup of that because I already have it set up because I'm using it. So you see my camera arm here. I have some other pictures of it I can show, but it's a 3-piece camera arm with the first arm being 12 inches, the rest being 11 inches. It folds up really compact. I 3D printed the main structure of the camera arm itself. And I also 3D printed this flip up, flip down, I guess standoff in a way. I have had some issues with that slipping, even with the 3D printed sharp teeth here. So what I ended up doing is running some actual stainless steel screws through with epoxy, holding it in place. And by doing that, I don't get any more of the rock and tilt and movement. I also, up top here, have a piece of all thread going through it so I can get the tension just right. I can keep tightening this to make sure that my main beam is level this way. You can see actually it's not right now, but by doing this I can keep pulling it tight. It would help if I go the right way with it, right? Righty tighty, lefty loosey, huh? Things you learn in first grade and forget when you're 37. To attach my camera arm to the tree, when I 3D printed the base here, I also included a kind of a Versa button design for multiple uses. I wasn't sure how I was going to end up strapping it. I thought just with a 1-inch strap that goes around it, that ended up being too hard to fidget with. So what I went ahead and did is I got some more 1/8 inch am steel and installed another cam jam on the backside with a loop here and a single daisy chain loop here. So similar to my DIY hitch strap, I just hang this up, throw my cam jam around the tree, hook it onto the loop, and then pull this line tight. And as long as I pull it tight, it stays there and stays in place. When I need to take it off, all you gotta do is just grab this and jerk it out, and it'll loosen the whole thing up, and I can take the whole thing off the tree. This camera arm is a really light setup overall. You can see it's pretty long. I can get about almost 3 feet away from the tree with these arms here. I got everything covered in stealth strips just to keep it quiet. It's 1-inch aluminum bars with stainless steel hardware, and I like to keep it on my right side. I feel that by doing that, I have a lot more shot opportunities on the left side. I normally don't mount it as high as you see here. Right now I've got it where it's like shoulder level. Normally I mount it a little bit closer to waist level, so that's out of the way if I need to move it to the left side of the tree to shoot my bow. But that's a little bit about my setup for filming. My GoPro I'm running is a GoPro Hero 2. I bought it new in, I think, 2008 or 2010, somewhere in there, long time ago. But you see the quality it puts out is still pretty decent. Battery life isn't great, but it's decent. The only real challenge with it is the fact that I have to keep it within arm's reach to be able to turn it on and off, because it doesn't have any kind of remote option or Wi-Fi option, and there's no screen on it to see where you're pointing. But it's such a wide angle, it doesn't really matter. My main camera, the Canon here, the HFG10, is also a 10-year-old camera that shoots 1080p full HD. I don't have anything 4K set up. I don't really see the need for it. I bought this camera online for, I think, $200 off eBay. It's really good quality for what it is. Not 4K, but I don't need 4K. It does pretty good with low light situations. It has a manual focus. But that is my saddle hunting setup with the one sticking option as well. Obviously with camera gear, you start filming and doing things like that, you're going to start bumping up the price of how much it takes to get into it. But you see the initial setup for one sticking, less than $450 is what you can get into it right now, with the parts that I use for my one stick, my DIY one stick, with some good quality Canyon Elite 9mm rope, with a Madrock safeguard, and with a professional climbing quick link like Metolius. You can't really beat that. $450 is just, it's a steal to get into. And then for $500 you can throw in everything else you need to throw in as well. Cheaper than the tethered Ultralock. That's going to be it. Everything that I talked about here as far as all my DIY one stick, I have all those parts linked below. So if you want to try and make something similar yourself, or take some inspiration and see those parts and decide how you want to kind of create your own one stick and go that route, feel free to look in the description down below, click the links. They are affiliate links, so I will get some kind of kickback, but by all means, feel free to do whatever you want to do and either purchase something or not purchase something. Just get inspiration. I just can't see the justification for spending $300+ on an Eastern Woods one stick, which they look fantastic. I'm sure they're amazing. They're probably more light than this, even though this whole thing's aluminum. It's still really light. I just can't justify the money for that when I have the whole thing for less than $142. $142 for the entire one stick setup. You just can't beat that. That's cheaper than some 3-pack climbing sticks. If you like this video and want more content about my setup, if you have any questions, please post that in the comments down below. I do try and get to all the questions and comments. I'm happy to explain anything. If you want to see an actual DIY instructional video on how I made any of these things, whether it's the daisy chain DIY or the DIY daisy chain, whether it's my one stick, well, I'm not going to make another one stick, but I can show you a little bit more detail about each step individually. But that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all very much. I hope you all have a great day.